Guys, today we will be reviewing Unit 13 on your book, on your yellow book, which is that of prepositions of place and giving directions. First off, we have the prepositions of place. We are going to be using on when we're going to be referring to the street, the boulevard, or the avenue where a place is. For example, the department store is on Main Street. We're going to be using on the corner of when we're referring to a place that it's between two places or two streets that create kind of like a cross. For example, it's on the corner of Main and First. Remember, we have to include both streets. Then we can use across from when both places are in front of each other, but we have to cross the street to get to from one place to the other. For example, it's across from the park. Then we have next to, which we're going to be using when two places are beside each other. For example, it's next to the bank. And lastly, we're going to be using between when something, a place, is placed right in the middle of one place and another. For example, the bank is between the department store and the restaurant. So, we're going to be using these prepositions of place to answer page number 88 on your books. Go there and try to answer by yourself and then come back. Once you're finished, we can check. The coffee shop is on 2nd Avenue. We're going to be answering or completing the sentences with the prepositions of place that we learned previously. So, the coffee shop is on 2nd Avenue, and we can take a look at 2nd Avenue and see that indeed the coffee shop is right there. And then it says it's the shoe store. So as we can see, it is right next to the shoe store. On the next sentence, we have the movie theater is Park and Main. So we're going to go to the movie theater, and we can see that Park is over here and Main is over here. So it's right on the corner of Park and Main. Then we have it's the park. As we can see, the park is over here. And to get to the movie theater, we have to cross the street. So, across from. Then we have number 3. The gas station is the parking lot. So we take a look at the gas station over here and the parking lot, and we can see that here we also have to cross the street. So we can say it is across from it. It's First and Center. So the gas station, in reference to First and Center, is right on the corner. First and Center. Then on number 4, we have the post office. And in reference to Center and 2nd Avenue, it is right on the corner of Center and 2nd Avenue. It's the hospital. As we can see, they are right beside each other, so we're going to say next to. On the last sentence, we have the bank is the restaurant. So we have to take a look at the bank and the restaurant, and we can see that they are beside each other, so next to. And the department store. Now, here they give us a second reference, so we have to take that into account as well. And since we have it right in the center, right in the middle, we're going to go with between. And lastly, it's Main Street. Since they are indicating the street where the bank is, we're going to say on. All right? Now, we're going to continue with how to ask for directions. To ask for directions, we might as well ask the question, where? Where is something? Where is the gas station? Where is the cinema? Where is the bank? Or also we can ask, how can I get somewhere? Or how do I get somewhere? Right? We can either use there, if we're already talking about the place, or we can directly mention the place. For example, how can I get to the Mario Hotel? Or how do I get to Cinepolis, right? Now, we're going to be using the same logic by answering with these prepositions, no longer of place but of movement. So, the first preposition of movement that we have, or the first useful language that we have, is go straight. This one indicates that when I'm giving you the direction, you shouldn't turn on either left or right, you're going to go straight. Then we have turn left or turn right when I need you to move directions. The next one that we have is go past. It means that you're going to continue on a direction, but you're going to use a reference on the way. You're not going to get there, but you're going to see it on your way there. Then we have go across or go over. This one we're going to use when we have to cross the street or an avenue or a boulevard. Then, as you remember, we have next to, when two things are beside each other, and on the corner, when we have two streets creating kind of like a cross, and on the left or on the right, when something is right there. You're already at the destination, you just need to either go right or go left. So, we're going to go to page number 90, and I'm going to help you create a route as to how to get from one point to the other. I'm not going to do it entirely with you, so try to practice by yourself. So, the starting point that we're going to start with is Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central Terminal to get to the Empire State Building, for example. So here, you're going to have to consider the orientation of the map. You are going to walk towards Park Avenue, and you have to turn right. You have to consider the direction. You're going to turn right over here, and you're going to get to Madison Avenue over here. Then on Madison Avenue, you're going to go straight until you get to 34th Street, which is this one. It's a long street, so take that into consideration. Then here, to our perspective, it would be turn left, but if you're considering your direction, you turn right over here to get to the Empire State Building. You had to walk 1 block. Try to solve it by yourself by going to page number 90. Complete the rest of the route to practice. Hello guys, today we will be reviewing the simple past on your unit number 14 on your yellow book. So the first thing that we have to know about the simple past is that we're going to have regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are the ones that are going to follow the rules. Well, what rule? The first rule that we have is that for some verbs, we are going to be adding ed or d at the end of the verb to transform it into the past. For example, we have the verb study, which we're going to add ied to make it into the past. Or the verb watch, we're going to be adding ed to make it into the past. Stay becomes stayed, shop becomes shopped, and exercise becomes exercised. All of these are regular verbs because they follow the pattern of adding d or ed to make them into the past. For example, we can put them into sentences. These are all past sentences because the verbs have already been modified to become past verbs. I studied on Sunday, you watched TV, she stayed home, we shopped for groceries, or they exercised on Saturdays. Now, when we are going to be creating the negative, it is going to be a little bit different because here we're not going to be modifying our verbs. They're going to stay as their base form. What we're going to be adding is did not to make that verb into a negative form in the past. We can either say did not or its contraction didn't. So did not study and didn't study are in the past, although the verb is not transformed with ed. Did not watch, it's still the past. Didn't watch, it's still the past. It is just a negative way to present it. So to practice this, we are going to be going to our page number 93 on our books. and we're going to complete the text respecting what we have between the brackets. For example, here, on Friday night, I wait for a phone call. Since this is a regular verb, we know that all we have to do is add ed to make it into the past. So, on Friday night, I waited for a phone call, but my girlfriend, and here we know that to make a negative, I'm going to have to add didn't before the verb. So, my girlfriend didn't call. Let's continue. I just stay. I'm going to transform it into the past by adding ed. So, stayed home. And same story with watch. We transform it into the past by adding ed. And watch TV. On Saturday, I visited. Again, it's a regular verb, so we're adding ed. My friend Frank. We, same story. Talk becomes talked. And listen to music. In the evening, he, same situation, just be careful to add d instead of ed because we already have an e there. So he invited some friends over and we, again, ed. And we cooked a great meal. Now here we have a negative form of the verb, so we're going to go with did not or with didn't. So I didn't, and don't forget to add your verb, didn't work very hard on Sunday. Again, we have a negative, so didn't or did not. Didn't, and don't forget your verb, study at all. I just, and here we don't have a negative, so we're just going to add ed to the verb. I just walked to the mall, and again, a positive or affirmative, so shopped. And that's our exercise number from page number 93. Now, that is the case with regular verbs. However, in English, we also have many irregular verbs. For this, we're just going to have to learn how to modify them into the past. The first one that we're going to review is do. This one, since it's not a regular, we can't do this. We have to modify it completely and change do into did. This one's we have to study. Get up, we cannot add get it or anything of the sort. We have to change it into got up. Then we have go. Again, we cannot add ed. That is incorrect. So we change it into went. Meet, going into the past, becomes met. Come becomes came to make it into the past. And have becomes had to make it into the past. Again, other than that, it follows very similar rules to the regular verbs. So it is only going to be different to affirmative. For example, we met our classmates. Here I'm speaking in the past because I'm no longer using meet. This was the present. This is the past. I did my homework. You got up at noon. He went to the museum. They had a picnic and you came home late. All of this is in the past. The only difference is that these verbs are irregulars and therefore don't follow the rules. But when we're talking about negative, we are going to do something very similar. Here, we're going to still add did not or didn't to make it negative. But again, we have to respect that the verb is going to stay in its base form. So, did not do. Remember, there is a very common mistake to say did not did, but that is not correct. The verb has to stay in its original form. So, did not do, did not get up, did not go, did not meet, did not come, and did not have. Another example here, we have them into sentences. I didn't do laundry. I didn't get up at 10. He didn't go to the library. Remember not to make the mistake of saying he didn't went because it's already negative. So he didn't go to the library. We didn't meet our teacher. You didn't come home early and they didn't have a party. So, to practice questions, we see that we also have a bit of a formula here. This works both for regular and irregular verbs. The formula goes like this. We start with our auxiliary did, then the pronoun or the person or the thing that we're asking about, and then the action. And here, this action is also going to be in its base form. We're not going to modify it into the past. And then we can add a complement to the question. For example, did you have a good summer? Here, remember, we do not change it into the past. We're going to keep it normal, right, in its base form. Did you ride a bicycle? Did Erica, see, here we don't have a pronoun, we have a person. Did Erica like her vacation? Or did Erica and her sister, here we have more than one person, we have people, and go to Colorado. So to practice, we're going to go to our books on page 95, and we're going to be completing these 4 mini conversations or interactions using the simple past. Try to solve it by yourself and then come back later to see the answers with me. So on exercise number 1, we have the question, did you have a good summer? They completed it for us, and we're going to be using the simple past to answer. So yes, and remember, we use our auxiliary to answer as well. So yes, I did. And here we have to give more information. We're going to be using the past of each verb. In this case, I had a great summer. I, in the past of go, is went. So I went to the beach a lot. On exercise number 2, we're going to be doing something similar. We're going to be asking the question. And if you remember, our questions start with did. Did you, and again, here we have the question, so we do not have to change the verb. We keep it the same. Did you go anywhere last summer? And the answer, no, and since it's negative, we're going to go with didn't. And here we have a regular verb. So we add ed. I stayed. Here, the past of this, of get, it is got. It is not a regular verb. So I got a part-time job. So again, this is not a regular verb. I made some extra money. On exercise number 3, something similar. We start with a question. So we start with did you, and again, our verb stays the same. Did you take any classes last summer? Yes, I did. And then the past of take, which is took. This is an irregular verb. Tennis lessons. And here we have a regular verb. So I played tennis every day. And lastly, we have another one that starts with a question. So did you, and then speak. Remember that our verb stays the same because it's a question. Did you speak English last summer? And the answer is no. It's negative, so didn't. But and this verb is irregular, and it stays the same, but it is pronounced differently. But I read English books, and this one is a regular verb, so I watched English movies. There you go. Thank you so much for watching. I will be helping you on another unit.